Hello, this is Salman Muhyiddin and welcome to my first sustainability related presentation. We understand that there has been much discussion on the subject of sustainability reporting, as in the recent past, IFRS S1 and S2 has been released. In this presentation, we will try to understand the basic concepts of sustainability. We will try to address the meaning of sustainable development goals and ESG, environmental, social, and governance, because these are interrelated concepts. Then we will cover a brief history of various frameworks and standards which are already in place, including the IFRS S1 and S2. After doing that, we'll try to do a small comparison between the scope of SDGs and the ESGs. After that, we will address at high level the requirements for IFRS S1 and S2, the scope of these two standards, and the objectives of these standards. Next subject, as a next topic, we will discuss in the same presentation a link between FDGs and IFRS S1 and S2 because these concepts are interrelated. You will come to know once we proceed in our presentation. At the end, we will address the challenges the companies and corporates will face while implementing the standard related to sustainability, and then the some steps that can be taken to overcome them. Let's begin with our first slide. What do you mean by sustainability? Sustainability, from the name, it seems like sustain, like keep things preserved. That's my understanding. Generally, it means that meeting the needs of today without compromising the needs of the future generation. Do not overdo things. Do not harm the environment. It's a act of balancing in various dimensions of the life. Environmental related matters, sustainability related matters. Sustainability means that social and governance, I meant to say. Then what do we mean by ESG? ESG is a framework which is developed for measuring and managing sustainability. And this provides a baseline for the stakeholders, including the investors, that how a corporate or company is performing against these three dimensions: ESG, environmental, social, and governance. Next is our SDG. What do we mean by SDG? Sustainable Development Goals. These are the goals which has been agreed by UN, all the countries, the members of the UN, in 2015, that there should be a peace and harmony and good life, a good standard of living life for people across all over the world. So 17 goals were developed. So why these are important? What benefit we will get by implementing these standards, these concepts, what we are referring to? As we know that the world is facing much challenges in terms of climate change, environmental related threats, uh, hunger, injustice, inequality. So these standards provide a holistic baseline, a holistic action, plan of action. If implemented in the right way, it will improve or address these issues. These standards also requires us to record, measure, and present the progress. These standards, these concepts, and these all the frameworks which has been developed provides new opportunities for businesses. They also provide an avenue for retaining the right talent because much of the workforce prefer to work for the organizations which are committed toward sustainability. Now we will discuss various frameworks. We will begin with 2015 issued Sustainable Development Goals. Though this subject is under discussion and other standards have been released even prior to that, but for our presentation, we will begin with FDGs. These are 17 goals which were agreed among the countries, and the countries are implementing these goals, and their progress we can be seen at United Nations FDG site. After that, GRI, Global Reporting Initiative, came up with this standard. After that, FSB released its reporting standard. Basically, first in 2017, this a task force was developed. This is called TCFD, Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures. And during 2020, it publishes its non-financial reporting sustainability disclosures. And it is important to note that the work of this TCFD has been incorporated, much of the work has been incorporated in the current IFRS S1 and S2, S2 specifically, I'm referring. 2018, IASB established or released its first exposure draft. ISSP was established in 2021. It released its first exposure draft of IFRS 1 and S2 during 2022. And June 26, 2023, this standard had been released. You would wonder that how fast they can release the standard. So we can make a link, or it can make sense. It does make sense that the work done by the other organization, including FSB, TCFD, that their work has been considered or as a foundation. What is FDG and ESG? FDG, as we just discussed, is a global level. ESG is basically for corporates at corporate level, a company level. That how investors or other stakeholders assesses performance of the companies. In terms of enforceability, ESG and FDGs were both not mandatory. But in the past, in the last 1 or 2 years, these are becoming mandatory. In the Europe, they have released their own ESG related standard, which includes the term dual materiality, a more comprehensive thing than the IFRS financial materiality. So, what do we mean by what do you understand by IFRS 1 and 2? The introduction. S1 sets out a general requirement for disclosures related to sustainability. This includes environmental, social, and governance. Whereas S2 is specifically related to environmental matters, environmental disclosures. What are the objectives of S1 and S2? The objectives of S1 and S2 are for any standard which we have seen in terms of financial reporting. They provide a global baseline which means that any user of financial statements interpret the results in the same way. whether a user sitting in one part of the world has the same meaning and understanding a person sitting in other part of the area, other part of the world. There should be consistency. Then it should also provide decision useful sustainability related information for users. Last but not least, again, common language for users with reference to these disclosures. What are the key requirements? S1 and S2. First we'll cover S1, then we'll cover S2. Identify sustainability related risks and opportunities. Identify their potential impacts on financials, on the business, the opportunities. Describe the governance process, how board sees this, what are the committees, what are the policies and procedures, what is the strategy to address the challenges and opportunities, how different plans being made, how risks being mitigated, how are we going to capitalize the opportunities. These type of things needs to be included and addressed as part of the IFRS S1. Then provide KPIs, some matrices and targets, some goals, KPIs, targets, targets to be compared, actually was to be compared against some targets. Then disclose some connected information. Connected information mean to say that giving more further context to the issues. How sustainability related issues influence the financial performance. S2, identify and assess climate related risks and opportunities. Understand the potential impact. Understand their impact or likelihood on the financial and the business performance. Describe governance structure. Define governance process. Outline the roles and responsibilities for managing climate related risks and opportunities. Describe, disclose policies, procedures, and controls that are in place for addressing these issues related to environmental related matters IFRS S2. Describe and disclose strategy and management approach. Explain how climate related consideration are being dealt with and integrated into the business strategy. How this strategy is made, how this strategy has embedded environmental related issues, how we are going to capitalize the new opportunities, how we are going to address the challenges related to environmental related matters. Then include some KPIs. What are the matrices and KPIs? How against whom we are going to measure our performance? Disclose connected information. Give the pretext. Now we will address the relationship between FDGs and ESGs as these are interlinked. As we have discussed briefly in our previous slides that UN in 2015 came up with 17 goals, which includes no poverty, zero hunger, gender equality, uh, clean energy, etc. etc. There are 17 goals. And each goals have sub goals, sub targets. And not all goals can be adopted by a single enterprise. They have to be very specific while selecting goals. So, what sort of opportunities this FDG and ESG brings in? We will divide in five different segments: renewable energies. We can see that fossil fuel, like traditional use of fossil fuel, is not good for the environment. The coal, the fossil fuel, it adds up to the emission, GHG emission, the greenhouse gases, which are bad for environment. Any government, the governments, not any government, the governments are taking initiative to provide incentives for the businesses who are coming up with innovation for alternate source of energies, which includes renewable energy, green energy, like solar panel, like solar related energy, which include wind energy, etc., etc. And government gives incentives like tax breaks, tax havens are created, subsidies are given, etc., etc. Then our next point is circular economy. Companies which can create innovative waste management solutions, companies which can help in increasing the useful life of the products, and items can be reutilized instead of just making them waste. Governments are giving them incentives. Sustainable finance. This is again one of the most important and hot topic. New consultancies are emerging related to sustainability. Green bonds, green finance under discussion, and companies are investing based on that. Then sustainable agriculture. Companies are developing sustainable farming, organic growth of products, agricultural related items, trying to reduce the food waste. And government is making investment in terms of research and development and providing subsidies. Then sustainable urban development. There are cities which are being built up on these concepts. Sustainable living, sustainable cities in various parts of the world. The cities which use smart technologies, which use smart material in terms of developing those infrastructures, smart use of transportation. So new technologies are being used in such a way that gives sustainable urban living. Now we will try to make a link between FDGs and the ESGs. As we discussed that FDGs are basically at the global level, country level, and ESG with a specific reference to the IFRS S1 and S2 are at corporate level. We will see that how certain goals in each category of E and S and the G are linked with our reporting standard. On the left side, we can see that there is a logo for FDGs, where 17 goals are there. Then in the circle, we are referring to our S1 and S2. On the right side, our various goals which are linked with the environmental related issue are addressed. First of all, our first goal here is goal number 6, clean water and sanitation. This is linked with S1 and S2, environmental, social, and governance. Environment, like we are our here subject is environment. Next one is affordable and clean energy. We discuss about the opportunities, renewable energy. Next one is responsible consumption and production, waste management, climate action. Again, this is linked with our renewable energy, trying to stop using the fossil fuel, like start using the electric vehicle, start using um, green energy, which includes solar and energy generated through the wind. And there could be other avenues as well. Life below water, again, environment. Life on land, agriculture related matters. Like we do not harm the environment, we do not harm the other creatures, we do not harm the forest, we do not harm the environment at broader level. We act in a balanced way. Then our next alphabet is S, social risk and opportunities. Likewise, in terms of social, no poverty, gender equality. Third one is goal number 8, decent work and economic growth, reduce inequalities. We can see that goal number 1, no poverty, social related issue. Gender equality, a social matter, social issue. Number 8, decent work and economic growth. Goal number 8, reduced inequalities. These are all social related issues. And again, these are linked with our IFRS S1. You will see that SDG goals are very broad actually. We will cover in the future. And in terms of the implementation, you will see that some goals would overlap with various E, S, and G. Like we will see here in our governance, risks and opportunities. Gender equality, goal number 5. Decent work and economic growth, goal number 8. Peace, justice, and strong institutions. If there is no right governance system in place, if there is no right uh, structures, institutions, and effective justice system is there, then how can we can bring change and improvement in our other factors, other elements? So these are also related to gender equality, decent work and economic growth, etc. This is a very high level understanding given, based on my understanding. There are books and much material available. If somebody wants to have a look, please go and have some research on the internet. You will find plenty of the information. What are the challenges implementing IFRS S1 and S2? First of all, data availability and its collection. Companies may need to establish new ways of collecting the data, new processes, how to collect the data. Second thing would be that identifying and assessing sustainability risks and opportunities. Accurately identifying what are the risks and opportunities, and with respect to that, the data needs to be gathered. It's a long process. Cost of implementation. In case if there are changes in their ERP systems, their resources, manpower resources, training of the staff, new hiring, engaging of the consultants, it would add cost to the business that we have to see. How we are going to integrate, the next point is the existing business reporting or financial reporting process, the sustainability reporting. That's another challenge. What sort of technical complexity that a business would have while implementing this? Do we have internal resources available, or we have to get the additional experts, or we have to use experts, or we have to hire additional resources to manage this process? Some of the ways that we can address those challenges: establish the cross-functional teams, which includes the operations, the accounting and finance, the communication, etc. This thing will help identifying various and numerous challenges that are being faced, and at the end will help implement these new reporting standards. Assess current data and reporting capabilities. Where do we stand today? What sort of capabilities we have, our ERP systems or our any system for the sake of record keeping and keeping record, that how we are recording data, in what format it is available, till what extent it is available, it is useful or it is not useful, or we are capturing the right data. Okay. What are the gaps we have identified to achieve the target of implementing the standard? Then develop a plan that what resources we will require. We will identify from there how much budget we will require, how much additional resources we will require. Then once this is done, we'll go towards implementation side. Once we have approved plan, approved budget, we would have started implementing the or making changes in the system. Then once this is done, we'll start recording the data. We'll start capturing the data points which are required for this reporting. Once this is done, it has to be monitored on a regular basis. It's just not a one-time exercise. It's a regular exercise, continuous activity. Because this is not a one-day job or at that time job. It is a regular thing. Environment we are living in is regular environment, normal continuous activity. Likewise, this has to be maintained. The We have to maintain the supervision of it, and it has to be monitored well. So that's it for now. This was our first attempt in making the vlog on sustainability related presentation. In the future, we will come up with various other vlogs on various subjects with the case studies, how our companies incorporating or embedding in their strategy the sustainability, how they're changing their processes, how they're setting the targets, and how they have implemented these disclosures. So, see you on our next vlog. Thank you very much.